I know a lot of you guys are still questioning what is possible with eBay selling if you take it fully seriously. Well, in the past month or two, I've been doing this ridiculously hard, giving it my all, and I'm going to show you the progress that I have made. So I'm going to start off with this little chart that we have here. I have compiled this, and each one of these represents one day. The layout of this is actually incredibly simple. Green is for a good day where the listing target has been met, yellow is mid, red is bad, and dark red, deep red, is absolutely terrible. That's usually a day where 0 items has been listed. My listing target was a realistic and reasonable 24 a day, which is not that hard to attain. So you can see every single week's results here. So if I can get the mouse on the computer, you'll see this is the end of the week, so obviously 7 days, and this is how many items I've listed every single week. With the exception of last week, I've listed over 100 items every single week. Last week was a pretty bad one, I'd kind of had some time off, and we're going to get back to it this week, definitely going over 100 items again. So you can see a lot of green days, mostly green days, a couple of red ones obviously in the week that I had off, and a couple of yellow ones, just life gets in the way, right? But generally, every single week has been over 100 listings. But you're not here to hear about how many listings I've done, what do the results look like? Now, before I describe this, please understand a few things. Number one, I cannot tell you exactly what items I sell. I've explained why before. When you run a dropshipping store, people can very easily copy it. Number two is I'm not saying that you guys are going to have the same success that I have. This has taken me years to get to this point, but obviously right now I do actually run a Patreon course where I teach people how to sell on eBay. If you're interested, we can have one-to-one sessions and I will show you how I've done what I've done. Anyway, let's get into these figures. And again, I'm not saying you will have the same. This is literally just what I've seen. And this is revenue, not profit. We'll talk profit in just a little while. So we're on ebay.com, and what I'm going to show you first is my impressions figures over this time. So impressions just under 10 million. Click-through rate is actually starting to improve. I know that seems extremely low, but we are actually getting up there. And you can see quantity sold is rising. Views is rising. Impressions rising quite quickly as well. Everything is on the up because I'm taking this hardcore, right? Organic impressions up, promoted up, top 20 is actually increasing by a significant value, and everything else is just going really well. You can see that we are actually in an uptrend right now, with yesterday being a particularly good day where we actually surpassed over 417,000 impressions, which is really impressive. In the terms of page views, it is still going quite well. It's a little bit more hit and miss in terms of like yesterday. Obviously, it was a lot stronger than it was in terms of page views, but generally, 25,000 is not bad, and today is going to be quite a good day. It's still quite early in the evening, even though it's pitch black outside. Anyway, let's talk about what you want to know. And this is obviously going to revolve around the quantity sold. Now, this needs to be split into two parts, and I'll explain why. I think I said a long time ago that I actually started selling on eBay US as well as UK. The data that you're going to see is going to be first a separation between the UK data, my main store, then the US data, then a compilation of overall profits and revenues. Let's get onto that right now. My UK store has sold 82 units in the past the past 31 days, which is an increase of 24%. That's where I got the 24 number from. You'll see we do still have some days like these ones where we actually had no sales, but generally every single day sees at least one sale. With today currently seeing 2, possibly 3 if an offer that I've sent out does actually go through and the buyer pays. So some days you're going to see ridiculous figures like 7 sold, but generally I'd say maybe 3-4 items sold every single day. Not bad at all. We are actually just starting this off, so the US store is a little bit weaker. Almost everything, if not everything, is growing here as well. 30% increase in organic impressions, 60+% unpromoted, click-through rate, top impression slots, all going up. And it looks like today's going to be a much better day than actually a lot of the ones which we've seen before in the past week. I would say that impressions and views here are generally stronger across the board. But obviously time will tell, and at the minute it is quite early on to kind of make big assumptions. Anyway, quantity sold on this store is actually 25, which is an increase of 56%, so you can see that we are actually starting to make progress here. And again, the US store, being a lot newer, is a lot more choppy. We have some days where obviously we go like 2-3 days without having a sale at all. And then on other days you can hit like 3 sales in a day. it's early days, so you kind of expect this. I am actually quite impressed by this, and again, seeing 2-3 sales in a day already is actually helping out revenue and profit quite a bit. But that's what you want to hear about, so let's go over to those figures. So here are sales on the UK store. Today we have only hit £104, which is not too impressive, honestly, but look at the overall figures, right? So 7 days, £1.5 thousand, 31 days, £5.3 thousand on the UK store alone, and obviously 90 days, 11.5. The bit that I am personally most impressed by in these figures is the fact that, being as it's only 11,500 in the past 90 days and 5,000 in the past 30 days, the rate of progression is rapidly picking up, and that's great. Like, nearly half of that revenue is in the past 30 days, 1/3 of the time. So, fees and costs. For this month, total sales, as you can see, are just over 5.3 thousand. Selling fees amount to just under £460. Net sales, 4.8 thousand, and obviously all the rest of it is just statistics. When we go over to the US store, if I can refresh this to find that. So listing sites, we select United States and remove the United Kingdom one. Let's refresh that and generate the report. And you will see that the figures here are £1,000, £1,050, selling costs of £260, which are quite a bit higher, but generally still, £791 worth of net sales. I can't complain. And if we actually start to compile all of this, select both United Kingdom and US sites, and refresh the page again, well, what do we get here? We get even stronger figures, £6.3 thousand in the past month. I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just showing you the figures, right? 6.3 thousand in the past month. £714 in the selling costs, net sales of 5,640, and this seems to be increasing all the time, right? I'm generally quite happy with this, and I can't complain. So is eBay dropshipping and generally dropshipping still viable? I've never made more profits, right? I've only had 1 month on record ever in my over a year of doing this where I've made more revenue. Now, profit, I actually think, in fact, no, I almost know this is the most profitable month because eBay has actually removed fees for UK sellers, and I'm going to make a Patreon video on that. So there's no selling fees at all, apart from promotion fees, which makes the journey significantly easier. Profits this month are definitely going to be over £2,000. If I had to kind of estimate it, because we're still like mid on in the month, I'd say realistically £2.2 thousand profit. It could be as high as 2.5. If any errors come in, it could be as low as like 1.8. But we're now getting to a point where, look, I'm taking this seriously. £2.5 thousand a month of income from one source is not bad. Bear in mind, I've still got other sources. I still do a lot of other stuff. This is now getting to crunch time, right? Because I've always said this, I'm taking my businesses completely seriously now, and seeing £7,000 nearly of revenue in the past 30 days is crazy. Did I ever think I'd get to this point? Yes. You've got to have the self-belief, so I did believe that I'd get to this point. But am I impressed at how quickly I've done it, considering that my sales were basically at lows a couple of months ago? I think it is an impressive turnaround. The factor that helped me most in this journey, honestly, was determination and hard work, right? I didn't have to list this many items a day. I could have listed more. As time goes on, I'm trying to list more, but also it's about managing life and making stuff genuinely viable. But this is the point, and I really want to hammer this home. In a job that's minimum wage, I would get paid £11.44 an hour. I calculated my profits for every hour worked on eBay. Do you want to know what the profit figures were in that time? £38 an hour. So I don't want to hear about business not being a viable source of income, because I'm looking at the figures in front of my eyes. And yes, I know a lot of people on the internet lie. I know a lot of people say certain things. That's fine. If you guys want to believe me or not, that's up to you. I'm living the lifestyle that I'm living. You guys are living the lifestyle that you're living. Everyone's happy with that. But here's the thing, right? This is why I struggle with the concept of getting a job or keeping a job, because I am seeing the results in front of my eyes which say this is not working. My stuff is doing better. I'm making significantly more from my own streams, and that's continuing to grow, than I am in a job. Just saying.